a little bit of a run through that we're going to go through. So I'm going to do this food safety lecture, followed by questions, and then we're going to play a game. And I have prizes because it is Earth Day today. I did bring some plants so everyone can have a prize. So let's get started. So a little bit of background on why I chose food safety. So food safety is something that I've been drilled on. I used to work at Starbucks, and we religiously live by health code standards because we want to be the cleanest and the best stores. So I don't work there anymore, but again, that's been like hardly embedded in me, and I hear food safety rules in my head all the time when I go to restaurants, when I'm out and about, and I'm like, is that safe to eat? Whatnot. But here I'm going to give you guys a run through of what all that means. So foodborne illnesses. So this is again another thing very near and dear to my heart. Obviously we'll get back to that later. So it affects a quarter of the population each year. We have about 9 deaths annually due to foodborne illnesses, and it costs the medical system $5 billion annually. So this is a logo for Stop Foodborne Illness. Stop Foodborne Illness is a national nonprofit organization that dedicates themselves to the prevention of foodborne illness and pathogens. Sorry, and then it STOP stands for Safe Tables Are Our Priority, and they really target issues like the one we just had with the romaine lettuce, like having E. coli outbreaks and dealing with those investigations directly, like why are these things happening? Why do we keep having E. coli outbreaks in our leafy greens? So who is at risk? Well, everyone is at risk for foodborne illness, but especially like young children, because they have a less developed immune system, and therefore they have limited abilities in fighting off a foodborne illness. And old adults, so people over 60, these adults have a crumbling immune system, so therefore again have limited abilities in fighting off pathogens. So that's why a lot of people say like, oh, babies and grandparents are very alike, and that's in one of the ways that they are. Okay. And who else is at risk? Pregnant women. So pregnant women are having a lot of hormonal changes. So some of those hormones are cell mediated, which are responsible for cell regeneration. So if those hormones are not being dedicated to building a immune system that can fight off pathogens, then those women become at risk. And then we also have the immunocompromised. So that means people that are already sick, people that have cancer or are prone to other diseases or have other diseases. So what does food safety mean? So it's a blanket term for a lot of things. So it's maintaining a food free of contaminants, and that could make an individual sick. So the CDC states that most of foodborne illness is caused by improper food handling by people. So now we have an acronym, FATTOM. These are the reasons why food becomes and has pathogens. So the first stands for food. Obviously you need food to create the pathogen. Then you have acid, you have temperature, whether or not that food is being held at a safe temperature, time, how long that food has been at an inappropriate temperature, oxygen, how long it's been out, and moisture. If your food is sweating in a strange way, you probably shouldn't be eating it. So that's a good way to remember this. Hint, you should remember these acronyms because they're in the game. Okay, so foodborne illness outbreaks. So again, what happened? What happened? What happened? Sorry. Mishap. Hello? Sorry guys. Okay, sorry. They're obviously transmitted from humans to food, and an outbreak is considered to be 2 or more people have that common foodborne illness from eating the same food. And then which agencies take care of these outbreaks? We have the CDC, the FDA and the USDA, and obviously you also have nonprofit organizations like STOP that are involved with outbreaks. Okay, so obviously here's the most popular one that we all know about is Chipotle. So what went wrong there? I mean, their ingredients were contaminated, their leafy greens specifically, like their romaine lettuce. Sick employees probably had norovirus, and lack of compliance with food safety standards, something that would happen at Starbucks, just saying. They're like Nazis there. And then so what they're trying to do now, so now I don't know if you guys have seen, but there's a lot of like Chipotle commercials right now. They're like, oh, we come in at 6 in the morning and we prepare your food fresh, and like, so I think it's just giving that idea that their food is fresh now and that they're creating it in-house, and so therefore you're less likely to get sick from their food. Okay, so what are the 3 contaminants? So the first one is biological, so that's any organic living organism that could come in, a bacteria, a virus, a parasite. And 2 of the most common foodborne illnesses that get spread at food is norovirus and hepatitis A. So norovirus, again, spreads through food and drink. Symptoms include vomiting, diarrhea, all the common ones. This is the common stomach flu that you get for 24 hours. And then we have hepatitis A, which again spreads the same way, and it's a flu-like symptom. And then you have nausea, low appetite, stomach pain, jaundice, and it affects the liver. So, interesting thing about hepatitis A, I actually contracted it when I was 12 or 11 actually. I was immune compromised because I had just come back from Guatemala and I had gotten really sick from drinking the water, and then I came to the US, and then I went to this place over here in Van Nuys next to that theater with the flying birds across it. You guys know what I'm talking about? It's like in Van Nuys, there's like whatever, there's like this little theater there. And I went to a restaurant there, and I ended up getting really sick. And then I was really nauseous, and then I was like, no, I need to go to the hospital. So I told my parents. They took me to the hospital, and the doctor kept asking me if I was pregnant. And I was like, no, I am not pregnant. I am 12. There's no way I'm pregnant. Like, I was 12, and because I kept complaining of nausea, and then and he said, okay, well, I went to Kaiser first, and they were like, no, there's nothing wrong with you. So then I was transferred to Children's General Hospital on Vermont and Sunset, and they did an ultrasound on me, and they're like, oh my God, your liver is like inflamed, like 2 times its size. So then they're like, oh, she has hepatitis A. So then after that, I blacked out, and then I woke up in a hospital bed. And from then on, I was hospitalized for a week, and then it took me about another 2 weeks to recover fully. Definitely couldn't eat certain foods, but it's very serious stuff. So it's something we want to be aware of. Okay, so the second contaminant is chemical radiological. This can come from a lot of things. It can come from your cleaning supplies, or it can come from the pesticides already in your food, which we'll talk about a little bit more about later. And other ones are physical ones. I mean, like there's a fly in my soup, or like certain things like that. Or if someone's wearing jewelry when they're cooking your food and they let their engagement ring drop in your cupcake, and now you gotta find it, or it's on purpose, not sure. But anyway, so it's like that. Like if you find plastic, any sort of coating in your food that's not really supposed to be there. So again, getting back to pesticides. So obviously that's our #1 pesticide right there, Roundup, done by our favorite people, Monsanto. Anyone is familiar. We also have these ideas of GMO and organic. Just because the food is organic doesn't mean that it's non-GMO, and doesn't mean if a food is organic doesn't mean that that food doesn't contain pesticides. It's just that organic food is only allowed to have approximately 139 pesticides versus conventional, which can have thousands. So we have the Clean 15. These are the foods that the Environmental Working Group says has the least amount of pesticides. So Mainly things that have skin on them. I mean, I think that's a good rule of thumb. If your food has skin on them, like your fruit or vegetable, it's probably okay to consume non-organically. Versus our Dirty Dozen list, which almost, no, all of it has skin. You will eat the skin, so you definitely want to try to purchase any food that has skin on it, organic or as clean as possible. If that's not possible for you, again, cleaning it is another good way. They sell fruit and vegetable washes in all stores, or you can make your own out of baking soda. So it's really up to you. Like you make like a baking soda or vinegar scrub out of it, and you just scrub your vegetables really well if you're like, okay, I don't want to eat pesticides and feel like garbage. And that's the way you would get to that. Okay. So what are the top food allergens? So 90% of the population is allergic to one or more of these items. So is anyone here allergic to anything on this list? We have wheat, fish, eggs, shellfish, peanuts, soy, tree nuts, milk, or is lactose intolerant? Yeah, that's a very common one. Again, 90% of the population is allergic. So what is a food allergy? So this is an immune response to a specific protein within a food. And these are all the symptoms you can have. Obviously, every person varies. This is Adam right here. He's in an anaphylactic shock. He's probably eating peanuts or something he's super allergic to. And he's lost consciousness. He has hives. He has swelling of the tongue. And the inability to swallow and rapid swelling. And I include food allergies and food intolerances in foodborne illness because it goes both ways. And it's like an ill feeling from eating food. So here's another one, food intolerance. So if you maybe don't go into anaphylactic shock or you're not passing out and you can't breathe, but you feel kind of like weird after you eat a certain food. So most people that are lactose intolerant lack this enzyme right here, which is lactase. It's a very beautiful enzyme. I know, it's a beautiful enzyme. But anyway, yeah, that's exactly what a person that is lactose is lacking. So food sensitivity, so this kind of just is any adverse reaction that you may be having to a food or whatnot, or a component in a food. And I did find this website here. They do food sensitivity testing. So it says, you can pop it in front of me, okay. Food sensitivity testing. I don't know how long it's been, sorry guys. I'm so sorry.
In case you have to edit that out.
I think it was 12 and a half minutes.
Okay, so proper hand washing. So again, one of the ways to avoid foodborne illnesses or putting an allergen into someone's food is to wash your hands properly. So look at good and well at this chart, because this chart is in the game too, guys. Okay, so obviously you wet your hands, you will turn on the faucet first, obviously, and then wet your hands. Put soap, lather and scrub for 20 seconds, or sing the happy birthday song, whatever works for you. You rinse for 10 seconds, and then you dry your hands, and then turn off the faucet. And then obviously get between your fingers, underneath your nails, and the tops of your hands. And if you're like super getting into your cooking, you should wash your forearms. Doesn't say that, but you should. Okay, so prevention. So one of the easiest ways to prevent is sanitation, which is achieved by like applying heat or using chemicals to properly clean surfaces that might have pathogens. Like if you're cooking with raw meat and then you want to chop your vegetables, obviously you would clean that surface first before proceeding, because if not, you're going to have residue from your raw meat on your broccoli, and now you have E. coli again. That's not exactly how it happens. But then you have sterilization, which is the destruction of all organisms. And obviously that's what this girl is doing right there, getting down and dirty, sterilizing stuff. And then making sure that there's no pests around your food. Flies, roaches. If you see places that have flies or roaches, probably don't eat there, because there's probably in the food too. Okay, so prevention continued. So this is the danger zone. And for consumers, it's 40 to 140 degrees. And for food retailers, they have 41 to 135. So remember these temperatures because they will be on the game. So handling. So handling your perishable foods exposed to danger zone temperatures can't be continuously out for 2 hours or 4 hours total. So let's say your food has been out for an hour. You're like, my friends didn't show up to my presentation. I gotta put my food away, so they do. And then you're like, okay, you're okay. And then you take it out for another hour. Still haven't shown up. Put it in, and then they finally eat it. Or again, like 4 hours cumulatively, it needs to be thrown out. So cold foods need to be stored at 40 degrees, under 40 degrees, and hot foods need to be held at above 140. And again, cooking kills most and destroys most bacteria at between 165 to 212. So proper thawing is also a way to prevent foodborne illnesses. So you probably just want to move your frozen item into the refrigerator and not leave it out all day while you're at work, and you know you can get sick. So, or you want to run it under cold water, not more than 2 hours. I know most packaging actually tells you how long you should do it for. And the last one, it was just part of my research. I actually don't like putting things in the microwave to thaw it. I think that's very strange, but it was on there, so I included it in the presentation. And my food safety video is actually not going to work, so now we're going to go on and play a game, so you guys don't have to keep listening to me talk. Okay, so 1 second. So now you can stop it. Hey, what happened? It's just working.
Fat Tom. Is that what you got, bro?
Is this the one where you click on the answer and who gets
Yes.
it first?
I love that.
It's the
Yes.
funnest thing in the class ever. Very fun.
We're going to play Kahoot.
Okay, don't know what it is.
Kahoot.
Never mind.
Kahoot.
Kahoot?
Do I have to say it like different ways?
Kahooter.
Kahooter.
This is interesting. How did you do it?
Mirror. I'm doing a mirror on this phone. On Frank. I don't know where Frank is, but thank you for your phone and your service. Okay. No, you're fine.
Okay.
I'm just saying thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. So everyone has their phone, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
You go to the website.
Okay. Good. Just making sure. 'Cause-
No.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Are
How do
all
I
single
join?
players?
I have to download an app?
No, you don't. You can
It's a
go to.
website.
It's a website.
Okay,
So
so
you guys are gonna enter this game pin here.
It?
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Let me know when everyone's in there.
577.
Sue, are you not playing?
Oh, 1%.
Oh, never mind. Sorry, you don't have to play. Oh, here you can play with my phone.
You want to charge?
No.
Ori has the...
Yeah, I heard that, but I don't find their.
She doesn't have a storage.
You have to just go here.
Which live cam do I
Savage
click on?
It should just let you
Savage.
enter the pin.
What? It's not a bunch of cams?
I'm just kidding.
No,
webcams?
you just gotta put your name,
Oh,
nickname.
you're on the wrong website.
I know, like, what webcams, dude? Okay.
Pick the one that's most interesting.
Oh, why is it doing weird? Let me know when everyone has
Hey,
joined.
who's B?
Huh? Me.
Oh. It was you? Yeah, man.
Sorry, speaking.
Oh,
There you
okay.
go.
It,
So the pin is 577542.
My other nickname.
Kendrick?
What the hell, man?
That's very specific. I don't know what story is that.
Okay.
If you film this, you get extra talking time.
I do. He is filming this.
Thank God.
He looked at it like, I was like, you better be filming this.
Okay.
Okay, has everyone that wants to play joined?
Yes.
Well, not you, Frank, because I have your phone. Okay. All right. So I have 9 players in the lobby. So I'm gonna go ahead and start the game. Okay.
Okay.
So here is 20 questions. Are you guys ready?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So how many deaths does foodborne illness cause annually? You
Triangle.
guys have 30
can't
seconds.
Oh.
Oh.
So how many food deaths does foodborne illness cause annually? Triangle, 1,000.
I can't really see.
Oh, it's triangle?
Diamond, 9,000. No, I was just telling you guys the option. Okay, okay.
Yeah, fuck.
Pretty good, guys. That's pretty good. Most of you guys are listening. Okay, oh, Shelby's in the lead right now.
The sooner you do it, the more points you get.
Yes, so the faster.
Yeah.
Well, come closer,
I
come
could barely
closer.
see, to be honest.
Which of the following are not a risk
Triangle.
for foodborne illness? Or not at risk, sorry, for
Not at
foodborne illness.
Is it everyone at risk for?
I guess.
Yeah, yeah. But of the 4 groups that I discussed,
Oh. What?
Down in front. Maybe it's immunocompromised.
it's people over 50. The answer was people over 60. That was a trick one. I got you guys.
That was too
I
easy.
tricked you guys. I tricked you guys. I was trying to make sure if you guys pay attention. Okay. Oh, Kendrick's in the league now. Okay, watch out, guys. We gotta move. So, what does Fat Tom stand for? So, I can't read all of these, but I thought these were funny to come up with.
Oh, I messed up. It's okay. I hit the wrong one. It's okay. I can't really see.
Shelby, come closer. Trying to get the prize. Trying to get the orchid, the hyacinth, or the succulent today.
Our plant just died.
I know.
Good job, guys.
It did.
Okay.
Alright, cool. That's me.
Oh,
Me.
nice.
That might be me.
That
We're
might
flying
be-
again.
Okay, so question 4: Which of these agencies does not deal with food outbreaks?
Oh, this is hard.
Oh yeah, there's some hard ones.
Oh, fuck. I thought
Sorry.
it was-
Good. ADA stands for American Diabetic Association. They don't deal with food outbreaks.
An outbreak of diabetic food or what?
No. That's not what I discussed. So, question 5: Foodborne illness is transmitted via food. True or false?
I hope so. See what's the answer?
Yeah, that was the easy one. See,
none of
I
us
gave you
got
guys
that,
easy
If
ones.
someone got false, we would have to call out.
I gave you guys easy ones. Oh, Jaw's in the lead now. Okay, so question 6: Which of the following are needed to classify a food outbreak? So I said check all that apply, but more than one of these apply. So you can have 2 right answers.
Check all the.
So you can have more than one right answer here. So you're.
Check all that apply.
I know you can't. That's what I said. You can choose more than one and be right.
What? I got it correct.
I didn't read that question.
What did you do?
I put because I said so. Is that wrong?
Yeah, because I said so was not right. Was not right.
I put the diamond one. Someone else put. I swear I did. Wow, Kendrick has a fire icon now. What the hell?
Okay, so how many contaminants are there? Yeah, how many contaminants are there? Did I talk about?
Sounds like a lie, so I'm gonna put a lie.
I'm just gonna guess.
1, let's see. Mine's still thinking.
No, it wasn't a lie.
I was close.
3. It was
Like 3 wrong in a row.
biological, chemical, and physical.
I'm learning so much.
I got like 3 wrong to start this game.
Okay,
Kendrick!
Kendrick's winning here. Kendrick is serving it. Which of the following did I contract as a child?
My thing froze.
My thing froze. Yep. No, you guys were listening to my story. Thanks, guys.
It's the only part I remember.
Oh yeah, I know.
Because
You know
were
that's
pregnant.
true. I know they.
Everyone
What's
has like
happening?
details
Oh, yes.
I can't use
Okay,
that
wait,
money.
we're back. Sorry, that was weird. Okay, so question 9. Which one of these is not a contaminant?
I get this wrong.
Intolerance. And intolerance is not a contaminant. All the other 3 are.
I'm one of the two that got it wrong.
Call him out.
Yeah, I'm still behind you.
Well, Kendrick is
Yeah, Kendrick is.
good.
Organic means pesticide free. True or false?
My shit's slow.
Wait.
I need Wi-Fi.
What was
I knew it.
Oh, I gotta correct it.
Yes, so unfortunately, organic does not mean pesticide free.
I gotta get like 10
Organic produce has 139 pesticides that can be used on it that are considered safe and will be still considered organic.
I'm in 8th place. I'm in 8th place.
I'm sorry about your life, dude. So question 11, organic means non-GMO. True or false?
Oh my god.
So unfortunately, organic does not mean non-GMO.
What does organic mean?
Well, I know. The problem is that we have things like organic soy milk, but soybeans are genetically modified.
So what does this mean?
So don't believe everything. Your whole life is a lie.
That's okay. I drink coffee.
It's a true thing.
I'm sitting in the front.
I switched. I made the switch.
Are you mad about something, Albert? Are you mad?
Sorry.
You're mad about something?
Baby
Okay, so question 12. Which of the following is not a symptom of a food allergy?
We can't see.
I couldn't see.
Wait.
Wait, are you
What?
Oh, sneezing, duh.
Coffee. Yeah.
A food allergy?
Hey, only 2 people got that.
Food allergy?
You're
We do.
I know.
I want to use a lifeline.
You can. I can use so much.
I'm now in 9th place.
Damn, Kendrick. Kendrick's killing it, you guys. You guys are really
wrong.
I'm now
A
not.
person who is lactose intolerant lacks what
I
enzyme?
put the wrong one.
Oh, I don't see it.
Damn it.
Wait, I spelled it wrong.
Oh,
I spelled it wrong.
Yeah.
I spelled it
I got
wrong.
it right.
That's it. I spelled it wrong.
Dang.
that one was cheating.
Yeah. That was a tricky one, huh? I was
I'm
like,
back
hey,
up to-
hey, 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 it's in the morning. Question number 14.
Happy
How
birthday
long
song.
should it take you to lather your hands
Freezes
for?
too much.
Happy birthday to you.
Oh,
Happy
no,
birthday
I
to you. Happy birthday.
Your phone.
Oh, we're gonna sing.
I don't know how many seconds it is. I just remember the birthday part.
Oh, good job, guys.
Oh, I lucked out.
So it actually takes you 30 seconds to answer each question. So triangle was not it for the one person that
was
did.
me.
Yeah.
Ooh, I moved to 6th
So
place.
question 15. How long should you rinse your hands for?
That's not the same as that last question?
Nope, that was wash and lather. Then comes rinse.
Answers also try. Wait,
Good
what?
job, guys. 10 seconds to rinse your hands.
Oh, after you let it.
Yeah, if you wash and lather. Correct. Okay, so food allergies are in your head. True or
True.
false? I don't know. People say that sometimes.
True.
Oh, for me, yeah.
Okay, scoreboard looks a lot the same. So, what is a danger zone for consumers? Yeah. I went evil on this one.
Okay, alright.
Yeah, I just
I got it wrong.
I remember 5 somewhere in the head.
Yep, that is correct. 40 to 140 degrees Fahrenheit.
What's medium rare?
What's medium rare?
Discipline.
Okay, so perishable should be discarded after. So again, you have 2 answers here that could be potentially correct. So you can choose either one and you will get your points. Frank, can you turn the light on,
Oh, sure.
please?
50-50, man. Just pick one.
You can pick one.
Damn,
Not good.
I eat cold pizza all the time.
Yeah.
And
Not a good
pasta.
What a
idea.
savage.
I get sick either way.
Okay, which one of these is part of the Clean 15? So I hope you guys took a look at that chart that I showed earlier.
Wait.
Yep, good job, guys. This very gets just 8.
7 plays. How many players are there?
I'm 8, so.
I'm 6.
What the
So last one, which one of these is part of the Dirty Dozen?
Oh, I think I know this. Oh, wait. Ooh, I got it. I got it. Guess where?
Yeah, peaches. Yeah, I try to.
You eat the skin of the kiwi.
Yeah, you don't need the skin on the kiwi, so I try to. You guys, good job for remembering that.
Ouch.
Very, very proud of you guys.
Kendrick.
9 points?
90.
It's like, yeah, I mean,
So, Kendrick,
Oh my god.
here's your prize.
Boo!
Can I donate my prize?
You can absolutely donate your prize, but here's your
Donate it to
prize.
someone else.
Okay, so someone who won,
Who's fourth?
Kendrick.
Who's fourth?
There's no fourth prize.
Or sixth? Because I'm
You want the
sixth.
orchid? You want the orchid? Okay.
I want the
But I'm already
small
on the podium.
You're not up there.
Okay, so Daniel.
Yeah.
Okay, so you get a hyacinth.
Hi, what?
What's that?
So it's gonna.
Ooh.
Oh shit.
Don't
one.
record that
Bring it
part.
first.
We put it out. It's okay. We got you.
So it'll actually extend down and it'll eventually grow out and it'll become this.
Is that part of the Dirty Dozen though?
No, it's not. It is a flower.
Eat it.
So you can eat it.
So you can't eat it. No. Oh, I can't see. Who's? I don't have
Sky
fourth
was
place.
Sky.
Yeah, but she got the orchid.
No, no. I
Oh,
donated to
yeah.
Eric here.
Oh, okay. Oh, look, I can get results actually.
Oh no.
Who is El Chapo? Okay, you get a succulent.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, boy.
Is this from?
Or B. Who is B? That was you.
B.
Do you want succulent?
man.
It's mine, man.
Oh, yeah.
By 6 points.
Okay, thank you again so much for watching my presentation and for playing the game. I really appreciate you guys. Hope you guys have fun and eat a lot of the food that I made. Okay, thank you.
So close.
Thank you. Oh, wait.